Mille? It's
Very
been
good, very good.
it's been so long.
It's been a
We
while, huh?
It's been a while, yeah. But it's been a while since Kreator released the albums, toured because of this goddamn pandemic.
Yep.
So, Mille, so many things to ask you. So great to listen to your records, and you exist for 36 years. Kreator, you for for more years than that.
Yep.
What's the secret of keeping yourself fresh and hungry for new music?
Mm, it's probably the love and the passion. It's the way we see ourselves. We see ourselves as a band, and we have the responsibility to ourselves to come up with relevant stuff. We don't wanna be release albums or write music just for the sake of it. We think it is important to, if you don't have anything to say, just shut up for a little bit and then wait till the right moment. And that's why I think the times between albums are a little longer nowadays, 3 to 5 years. And but I think also that the 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 music that we put out means a lot to us, and we do take the time. Let me put it this way: we do not want to rush things, and we don't have to, you know.
You have earned the right to take your time and release music as soon as you have something to say. You're not a fresh band. You're not a new band. You're not a newcomer. You have released so many albums. You have earned it. You have earned it. And Hey to Berales is a statement. Is a kind of a motto.
Mhm.
Um, did you want to find such kind of title for your album, something that really shows, depicts the lives of today, and also give a hint to the flag of hate for the fans?
Yeah, it's full circle, isn't it? I mean, if you
Yeah.
think about it, it's one of our first songs we've ever written as Kreator or Tormentor back then was Flag of Hate, and now we're going into Hate über alles. It is one of the big emotions of life. If you think about it, I mean, there's love and there's hate, and these two major feelings are the cause of human drama, whatever you want. In all history, in all mythology, it's all about love and hate. And since we're a metal band, we focus on the hate.
And
And it's
it's easier to hate. It's
yeah,
easier to hate than to love.
it is absolutely, absolutely, and I totally agree with you. Um, and I think that's why we're the world is in a state uh, that it's in at this point. It is it's easy to just be against something. It's easier to be for something and stand with all your power and all your energy into something that you believe in, rather than just being against. You know, and I think it's cool, and it's for when you're a teenager, I would lie to you if I would say I was never against anything. Of course, as a teenager, I was against certain things, and I would try to be rebellious and like that, fuck this, fuck that. But nowadays, reflecting as time went by, I think it is essential to also be able to stand for something, and rather to stand against everything. So hate über alles is a statement against hate in a sense of mindless hate and hate speech and and
And all these social media diseases.
absolutely. And that social media is like so heavy nowadays. It's so influential. You would have never thought, like maybe even 10 years ago, you would have never thought that it would have such an impact nowadays. The marketing companies for politicians, they use social media, they use Twitter, they use Instagram, and it has an influence on everything in life. And it's almost like the Black Mirror episode where you get like you get reviewed and you get like points for when you're friendly, you're not friendly, and this is like social media has become so powerful, and it has such a huge impact on our everyday lives, that I thought it was time for a statement, about writing an album about communication, modern day communication. And yeah, that's what Hate Wireless stands for to
And I,
me.
and I think that the most strong statement is uh, the words "hate is the virus of this world." I mean, this is the motto of the album, apart from "Hate Liberales."
Hmm.
Hate
Yeah,
is the virus of this world.
it is. It is. If you think about it, it is. And but yeah, it's definitely that. Yeah, that sums it up quite well.
After working for 2 records with Jens Bogren, you finally decided to work with Arthur Rizk, who plays for Internal Champion. It's what made you change the producer and go to a more underground choice?
He will not be underground after this record. I know.
He's not underground at all.
um, Arthur is just a. I mean, um, I think that Arthur is one of the most talented producers, and it didn't matter to me. And he worked on some pretty huge albums. He worked on Caballeros and Conspiracy. He worked on Soulfly. He worked on
Our trip.
Power Trip, and the Ghost Main, for example, which is a huge thing. And I think it didn't matter to me whether or not he was established or established outside the underground. That wasn't important for me. I met him in Philadelphia, and we clicked on a personal level, and I figured that he is a little younger than we are. I mean, he's 33 or something, but he has this. He's done his homework when it comes to metal, and he has same thing. He has things. He likes things a lot, and we both like the same things, but we also didn't like the same things. We were like so much on the same wavelength when it came to, this is not how we want to sound. This is not how a creator should be, and this is not how our production should sound. So we, apart from listening to songs that we loved during the production, we also listened to stuff that we didn't want. So I thought that was a nice little side note, if you think about it, because we made sure that we do get to where we wanted to be with this production by sorting out stuff that we didn't want. Uh, Talking about sterile productions, talking about too clicky, too clean productions. We wanted to have something that's a little out of the box, very very organic, without being too old school in a sense of dated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's modern but old school at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
we were looking for.
hmm And however, for the song, the standalone single 666 World United, We're Divided,
Mhm.
you worked with Andy Snip.
Mhm.
Um, was it just an one-off experience with Andy? Did you ever think of using this track on Hey to Barales?
Yeah, we did, but the sounds are so different that we thought it wouldn't fit. And also, we had a concept for Hate Wireless. We were seeing Hate Wireless as an album, a whole album, and it didn't really fit on that record. We love that song. I mean, we still play Hate 666 live,
Mhm.
and we think it's one of the best Kreator songs ever. But it wasn't the right setting for it to end up on the.
Your cooperation with Andy was a one-off.
Me and Andy were good friends. We always will be, and we have done 2 albums together, one live album, and now 666. And I can always go back to him, and I will always know that he's gonna be amazing, And I think timing was not right, and also we wanted to try something new. We wanted to work with Arthur, and we did, and it was the right choice.
Uh, a very strange coincidence is that from Outcast and on, even though you change your personnel very rarely, you did not take German musicians. You had Tommy Fetterli, you had Sami, and now Fred. Maybe is it in your back of the mind that Kreator is not strictly a German thrash metal band? In the sense of the 80s, you know, Sodom.
I know what you're talking about. I get it. Nationality is not so important in that. We just thought of the best fitting member. We were thinking who is a good friend of the band, and who is a nice guy, and who is the best player that we know on bass. And Fred came to mind right away, and I was like, it was a no-brainer. See, other bands, when they change members, they do auditions and they invite people, and we didn't want to go through that. I knew that Fred wanted to move on, wanted to experience new challenges. He was ready to join Kreator. I knew that before he even joined, and it was really just one call, and he was in the band.
That's the best the best option you could ever have.
Absolutely.
A lot of people might wonder and ask you about the song Midnight Sun because it has the female vocals. However, I will ask you about Become Immortal, which is your latest video, which might as well be your new wave of British heavy metal moment.
Absolutely.
It starts with the lyrics 1984, I Hate the Sun, and all of a sudden it comes to me that 1984 was the year that Tormentor was created.
Yes.
And then it says 1985, I hear the cold, toxic clouds cover the sun in the shadow of the Berlin Wall. Is the song autobiographical? Does it speak about Kreator in the beginning of the Kreator, and the middle part, the choir of the song is Mordor from Running Wild? Did you do that deliberately? Did you do that on purpose?
We wanted autobiographical songs are not something that happens every day in the cosmos of Kreator. It's more like we don't write so many personal songs, and I'm not a nostalgic person, if you know what I mean. I like to look back, but I don't like staring back, and I'm not like, wow, back then things were different, things were better. I'm not that kind of person. But I know that the year the year 1984 and 1985 were essential years, and I wanted to make the statement, and in order to kind of like look back a little bit without being cheesy. And musically, when I found this riff and this more traditional metal, new wave, British heavy metal, whatever you want to call it, riffs, I thought this should be something special. This should be something. The lyrics should be something out of the box of the Kreator universe. And I had there's a German band Tokotronic that wrote an album, an autobiographical album, and I really liked that, and I thought they did it quite well, and they did it with not cheesy, and they did it more like, you know, let's reflect on who we were and who we are and where we came from, and that's kind of inspired me to write this song.
And this choir part, which reminds me very much of Mordor from Running Wild.
Mordor, really?
Mordor, yeah, it's Mordor meets Accept.
Ah, really?
Something like that.
A boys' choir, right? That's a compliment. I really like Running Wild, and I like Accept. I didn't have that in mind, to be honest, but
it turned out so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had the melody first, and then I was the guitar melody, and I thought, what if we take it to the next level and have a male choir in the background? And we tried that. It's kind of like an experiment for us. For other bands, it's a standard thing, but for Kreator, it's very new.
Yeah, and it would not fit if it was inspired by bands like Lamb of God, for example. Okay, it's an old school song. It has to be old school inspired.
Absolutely.
Another thing about the title, you chose a German title? which is rather unusual. Um, did you ever think before choosing the title that Dead Kennedys have California Uber alles? What the fuck? Let's make our own Hate Uber alles. Let's be the next Dead Kennedys of the 20s.
Absolutely. I think California Wireless always stuck to me. It always, even I discovered the band when I was very, very young. And I discovered the song when I was young because it's California Wireless. And I was always wondering, this is an American band. Why did they sing California Wireless? And the meaning, of course, is different when you're from Germany. It's Deutschland über alles was one of the worst lines ever written in German culture because it's something that the Nazis took for their propaganda, right? Deutschland über alles. And I was really fighting with myself whether or not I should use this title. I thought it was very strong and it was really fitting, and it kind of put it kind of reflected 100% of what I felt about this day and age and how people communicate with each other. But I still thought it was a little bit not controversial, but it was a little edgy, the title, and I wasn't quite sure. And then I asked the band, how would they feel about Hate Über Alles? And everybody was like agreeing that this is very strong and it sticks with you. And it's like something you can remember, and it's definitely a title that's very strong. And it's in the it's in the tradition. You know, we always had like titles like Extreme Aggressions, Gods of Violence, Enemy of God, Phantom Antichrist. All these titles are very much, very present and very, how do I put this?
They're edgy, but furthermore, you do not have to prove to anyone your anti-Nazi sentiments.
Absolutely.
I mean, after all these years, you don't have to prove that you're anti-Nazi. It's not your first album that you have to say that, okay, we are not pro-Nazis, we're anti-Nazis, we're anti-fascists. So it's been a career of 35 years now that you proclaim that you are anti-Nazi. So you can use a title and nobody will ever say, maybe Kreator, okay.
They became Nazis in their old days.
And maybe see you eat the steaks now. Okay, okay. So Midnight Sun has these female vocals from Sofia Portanet. It's the first time you have something like this. But to tell you the truth, I wasn't surprised. You have done records like Renewal, like Endorama. I expect anything from you. What do you think would be the most unexpected thing for Kreator to use in the albums?
On any albums?
On any album, the most unexpected thing that you would ever do.
I mean, you've been following the band since almost day one, right? And people that are not so familiar with Kreator, and there's also, like I said that before in another interview today even, there's certain people that think that there's rules in thrash metal and that we have to follow those rules, right? But we're not. We're trying to write songs that we think are strong and that we think are relevant in this day and age, and that's what we do. And for that matter, I think anything can happen. It wouldn't quite fit the band if we all of a sudden write like a jazz song, because that's not what we feel inside. But if we feel like, especially with the song Midnight Sun, it was based loosely on the movie Midsummer by Ari Aster, and the main character is a female, and she's a very strong character, and I love Sophia's voice. I thought that we should work together somehow, and then I think it just fits perfectly. I think there's no rules, and I think what's the most unexpected? It probably be us writing a jazz song, because that's never gonna happen.
We talked about social media, and you are quite active on social media, and you are not afraid to say your opinion, as you have always done. Do you feel, however, that writing your standpoint on such huge platforms creates sometimes problems. I mean, do you feel that people using social media are mature enough to tolerate a standpoint that they do not share, that they do not believe in?
It's not my problem, to be honest. I mean, I can't let it get to me. I think when you're like going on one of my social media sites, I mean, go to Facebook or go to my personal Insta, whatever, you're coming into my world. So you have to expect me things, right? You have to expect things that I care about, and you have to expect to read about things that I like or that move me. I cannot be a reflection of your whatever you want me to be. I can't. That's not gonna happen. So I when I first discovered or when I realized that people get very vocal and very ugly when they disagree with me, and they go like, you know what, you have been vaccinated, so I'm gonna burn all my Kreator records. That was like the worst that I've ever heard. But then on the other hand, I thought, you know what, these people, and people that are so cruel and so like very immature, are people that have problems. That those are people that are not happy, and I am a happy person. I'm very happy, and I cannot make these people that they're trying to make me feel something that I'm not, by telling me that I'm wrong, and that's just beyond me. And I'm like, when you come to my house, it's my rules. Sorry. I mean, and you have to read about veganism. You have to read about some political stuff. You might even read about like yoga or whatever. And if it's not what you're into, just unfollow me, and that's fine.
No problem. Do you follow streaming platforms? I've, I've, I've seen that. Would you believe that Satan is Real would be by far your most streamed song of all Kreator songs? And how do you feel that uh, Kreator is a band, an old band, 35 years old? You cannot say that you're a young band, with the younger fans.
Yeah.
I mean, Satan is Real has over 15 million streams.
Mhm. I'm still not on Spotify because I decided to go to a different streaming platform where I can buy the albums. I'm on, I think I'm on Apple Music or something, um, and I buy albums. If I listen to something I want to buy, I want to support the artist. That's why I'm not on Spotify, because I would probably forget about buying these albums. And to answer your question, it's great to see that, and I'm totally flattered, and it's cool. But um, and I had this discussion in the last couple of days with many people, because we just released a new album and streams are becoming more and more important. Um, and I wasn't too aware of it because sometimes I'm a little late to the party. But that's what's going to happen in the future. We all have to adapt to this new reality, that there will be more and more streams and less physical people that love physical products. To me, the artwork is important. I love creating art. I love creating albums. I love doing the artwork and the hopeful treatment. But I have to accept the fact that many of our listeners never owned a vinyl, especially the young.
Yeah, but do you expect that Satan is Real would be your most streamed song, your most popular song amongst your fans?
No,
It's
I didn't.
YouTube, on Spotify, it's everywhere. It's Satan is Real.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's great, but it's not the obvious choice. I mean, you have so many hits,
yeah,
and
yeah,
without quotation marks, you
yeah,
have hits,
yeah.
even for the thrash metal bands. I was
Yeah.
surprised, and I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
And before the end, I know our time is drawing to its end. I have so many things to ask you, but the last thing would be about guest appearances. You have chosen to do guest appearances in artists that are not familiar with are not are something different from Kreator. I mean, you have chosen to be on Caliban, Lacrimosa,
Mhm.
Volbeat,
Mhm.
Ed Guy and Avantasia. I mean, Tobias Summit is the only person you've
Mhm.
worked with him twice, with
Mhm.
Ed Guy and Avantasia. Which would be your dream come true guest appearance? Who would you like to ask you to participate in his album?
Good question. I'm thinking.
Yeah, who knows? Choose somebody that might listen to it and ask you and make your dream come true.
I'm totally happy without appearing ever again on any guest appearances. To be honest, I mean, I get asked many. I get asked a lot, you know, and I have to say no a lot because I'm not. If it's done for the right reasons and I can add something to the music, like Sophia did on Midnight Sun, then I'm in. But if it's just for the name dropping, I'm out. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd love to do. I'd love to work with somebody not metal, maybe, where I can make sure that it's for the right reasons. But I also love to do whatever guest appearance. It depends. It also depends on the mood. There will be something coming up. Before we kick off the tour with Lamb of God, we did a song together, Lamb of God and Kreator. That's going to be cool. And I think that's totally different because it's like the European
In the US.
view and the US view. And it's like both thrash metal, but in a
It
with a
will be a
very.
song. It will be one song with both bands on.
Yes.
When should we be waiting for that?
October before we kick off the tour. It's called State of Unrest, and it's about it's a song that we've written for the tour to kick it off.
State of unrest,
Hmm.
like depression unrest.
Or the tour name. The tour name is State of Unrest. Depression Unrest is an older song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
So
it,
it
man.
will have some
Not many people
industrial kind
remember
of.
that song. You know that. Not many people remember that song because it's on one of our least popular albums. But I
But
think that's going to be a cool song. That's a cool collaboration that I did, and hopefully there will be some stuff coming up. But if you ask me about my dream collaboration, I would say something unrealistic. So I'd rather not say it.
okay. So tour plans for Europe, for the northern part of Europe, eastern part of Europe.
You're talking about Greece.
Uh,
We will hopefully come as soon as possible now that the world's back open. We
yeah.
just wait for the next opportunity to come and play for you people over in Greece. And I hopefully that's soon. Hopefully it could be January or something.
Yeah.
Because we might do a second part of our tour. First we do Europe, and then we do
Center.
like
Yeah.
Southern Europe.
Yeah. Okay. It's so great to see you again. It's so great to listen to the great new album. Your new album is fantastic.
Thank you, Sakis.
I know that you have worked a lot, but you have mentioned it to many other interviews. So I didn't want to make the same questions over and over again.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
And,
It was like more like a conversation more than an interview.
Yeah, it's always the thing we'd like to do and become more friendly. And we've done so many interviews. So
I know.
I've asked everything about Kreator, so I need to know some tiny little
Yeah.
details which make the difference. Okay, so wish you the best. Thank you very much. You can keep